Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Matters of Faith, the radio show. Matters of Faith is a show designed to bring issues of interest to you, the listening and viewing audience, that will put a biblical perspective on everyday issues. I am your host, the Reverend Dr. J. Lauren Russell, and it is my job to engage you in stimulating dialogue that's inspiring, encouraging, and motivating, dialogue and conversations that will help you build your determination, your commitment, and your character, conversations that will help you keep the faith. Everyone born of God overcomes the world. This is the victory that has overcome the world, even our faith. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is time for Matters of Faith, the radio show. It's 8 o'clock. It's Monday, May 11th, and it's time for Matters of Faith, the radio show. I am your host and executive producer, Reverend Dr. J. Lauren Russell, and tonight we're talking about the devotional and the topic, the essence of a mother. And my very special guest tonight is Reverend Dr. Geraldine L. Harris, pastor of the Greater File Chapel Baptist Church in the village of Harlem, USA. And we're broadcasting tonight on our Matters of Faith YouTube channel. We're also broadcasting live on our Matters of Faith and J. Lauren Russell Facebook groups. So telephone and tell a friend they don't want to miss this episode tonight, The Essence of a Mother, with Reverend Dr. Geraldine L. Harris. And please, ma'am, please, sir, don't forget to support our sponsors and advertisers, the JLR Company and J. Lauren R. Consulting LLC for all your church financial consulting needs. JLORENR at JLR.LLC or call 718-328-8096. It's not about the castle. It's all about the kingdom. And Matters of Faith, the book. The hard copy can be acquired from our Zelle account, JLORENR at JLR.LLC. The book is $24.15. You can also send a check or money order to the JLR Company, Post Office Box 301, New York, New York 10035. That's P.O. Box 301, New York, New York 10035. And you can also get it as an ebook, so you can take it with you wherever you go. www.smashwords.com/books/view/993177. And don't forget to check out the Eat Okra app for black-owned restaurants and a whole lot more about food all over the nation. That's right, Eat Okra. Professional, compassionate, and family-friendly services at your time of bereavement. John J. Fox and Sons Incorporated Funeral Services. If you need them, know that they proudly serve the Bronx community and have been doing so for the last 125 years. When you're in need, give them a call. 718-733-9114. That's 718-733-9114. John J. Fox and Sons Funeral Services. Your focus in your business are on profitability, and rightly so. Your church is on spiritual excellence, and it should be. But if you let E.G. Edwards and Associates Incorporated handle your accounting and taxation needs, they do it with competence and professional excellence, and it will take your mind off of a lot of the things that you need to do in order to maintain your business profitability and your spiritual excellence. They're just a phone call away. 718-949-5181. 718-949-5181. E.G. Edwards and Associates are here to help. 718-949-5181. And please get your subscription to Better Mag magazine today. A 2-year subscription is still only $27.50, and you can get it by going to www.abettermag.com. That's www.abettermag.com. And please, ma'am, please, sir, subscribe, like, and share our Matters of Faith YouTube channel. That's Matters of Faith YouTube channel. And while you're at it, please subscribe to the Matters of Faith blog. Just go to www.mattersoffaith.blog, put in your email address, tap the Sign Me Up link, and you'll get an email. Confirm it, and anytime and every time anything is published through Matters of Faith, you will be notified. So make sure that you support and sponsor our advertisers and our sponsors. I'm still super excited about our Matters of Faith blog. please go to www.mattersoffaith.blog. www.mattersoffaith.blog. Click the subscribe button. Type in your email address. Hit that bar that says sign me up. You will receive a confirmation of thanks and then a confirmation email. If you confirm that, you will receive everything that we publish. www.mattersoffaith.blog. The Disciples of the Evangelical Church of God, located at 1205 Washington Avenue in the Bronx, New York, invites each and every one of you to be a part of our worship services on Sunday at 1 p.m. We meet on the first and third Sundays in person, but every Sunday we meet via Zoom, 873-6003-1163. Let me give it to you again, 873-6003-1163. This coming Sunday is Mother's Day. So please, ma'am, bring your mother, bring your aunt, bring your sister, but join us for Mother's Day on May 10th at 1 p.m. We will be on Zoom, so make sure you're there. We look forward to seeing you. This is our invitation to you. We will hopefully see you on this Sunday and the Sundays to come. We love you. There's nothing you can do about it, so get used to it. And if you weren't there yesterday, we missed you. You missed it. Imagine this. An employee wakes up with a sick child, a prescription to fill, stress building at home, and no time to sit in a waiting room. With Revitalized Health or Integrity Health, they can reach concierge medical care quickly, get help navigating the system, access mental health support, and tap into prescription assistance without feeling like they're doing it all alone. This is what changes lives. Not a brochure, not a promise. Real continued support when real life happens. And yes, the employer may save some money too. Give us a call. Maximize employee wellness, minimize business costs. 718-757-1527. 718-757-1527. The JLR Company is here to help. 718-757-1527. Hey, my birthday was last Friday, May 8th. I want to thank you all for the shout outs that you gave me. I appreciate it much. If you want to bless me financially, you can do so. There's two ways to do it. There's Cash App, $JLaurenR, the number 1, or you can use Zelle, JLORENR @gmail.com, Cash App or Zelle. If you want to bless me financially, I'll accept it. But thank you for the well wishes. Thank you for being there with us. And God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. You know I love you, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. So get used to it. And now the devotional, The Essence of a Mother. The link to that devotional can be found at www.mattersoffaith.blog. That's www.mattersoffaith.blog. Please subscribe. You can also find the column and the devotional in the Yonkers Insider, www.yonkersinsider.blogspot.com. That's www.yonkersinsider.blogspot.com. You can also find it in Better Mag Magazine, www.abettermag.com. That's www.abettermag.com. The column is also carried in the Positive Community Magazine and or their newsletter, www.thepositivecommunity.com. That's www.thepositivecommunity.com. The column is also carried in Pamela's Big Heart newsletter, The Essence of a Mother. Proverbs chapter 31, verses 10 through 31, Contemporary English Version. A truly good wife is the most precious treasure a man can find. Her husband depends on her, and she never lets him down. She is good to him every day of her life, and with her own hands she gladly makes clothes. She is like a sailing ship that brings food from across the sea. She gets up before daylight to prepare food for her family and for her servants. She knows how to buy land and how to plant a vineyard. And she always works hard. She knows when to buy or sell, and she stays busy until late at night. She spins her own cloth, and she helps the poor and the needy. Her family has warm clothing, and so she doesn't worry when it snows. She does her own sewing, and everything she wears is beautiful. Her husband is a well-known and respected leader in the city. She makes clothes to sell to the shop owners. She is strong and graceful, as well as cheerful about the future. Her words are sensible, and her advice is thoughtful. She takes good care of her family and is never lazy. Her children praise her, and with great pride her husband says, "There are many good women, but you are the best." Charm can be deceiving, and beauty fades away, but a woman who honors the Lord deserves to be praised. Show her respect. Praise her in public for what she has done. The essence of a mother. Does the birth of children define the characteristics of a virtuous mother? Proverbs 31 takes a different approach, saying the essence of a virtuous mother begins with a woman, a wife, who is regarded as a precious treasure by her husband. She is a woman that he cannot live without. She is described as a truly good woman, precious, dependable, talented, industrious, savvy, generous, compassionate, empathetic, strong, graceful, cheerful, sensible, insightful, honorable, beautiful, proud, respectful, loving, kind, sensual, thoughtful, caring, sharing, and God-fearing. The author describes a truly good or virtuous woman as someone who handles her business and loves her family, especially those who call her mother. Anna Jarvis fought to have this day set aside nationally to celebrate and honor the love, care, and sacrifices mothers made for their children and the services they give to their communities. What's interesting is that while Jarvis never married or had children, she clearly recognized the value of motherhood. Without the aid of modern technology, email, or AI, a massive letter writing campaign to newspapers and prominent politicians resulted in 1914 President Woodrow Wilson signed a measure officially establishing the second Sunday in May as Mother's Day. If I could write for every grateful child who had a loving mother, biological or surrogate, the most profound thing I would say is that God has honored her for the love she gave to others. Personally, my mother was gone too soon, but she left an incredible reservoir of love and compassion that not only overflows in my heart, but overflows and is evidenced in the lives of my three siblings through the love they express to their own children. As the lone childless sibling, I got to see the influence of my mother's love in the lives of my siblings' children. It really doesn't matter whether your mother had all or none of the qualities found in Proverbs 31. What matters is how you respect and honor her for the one that she has and what she has done for you. Notwithstanding, sometimes the best thing a mother can do is let her children go. If nothing else, we all can and should respect and honor our mothers because she brought us into this world. For that reason alone, you now can make this world a much better place than it was when you were born into it, and to do for your children and the community what she may not have had the ability to do. As a matter of faith, any woman, whether a mother or not, who has the essence of a virtuous mother should be giving her praises while she can hear them. Her children praise her, and with great pride her husband says, "There are many good women, but you are the best." So today, follow Stevie Wonder's advice and just call to say, "I love you." And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. If you can't call her, pay her a visit, say a prayer, or just spend some quiet time thanking her for being your mother. Happy Mother's Day. Here's my challenge question tonight. Are you ready? What evidence is there that God is shaping true virtue in you? Or are you still trying to manage your life in your own strength? Let me ask it again. What evidence is there that God is shaping true virtue in you? Or are you still trying to manage your life in your own strength? Would you welcome with me tonight my very special guest, Reverend Dr. Geraldine L. Harris. On August 2nd, 2026, she will have served as the pastor of Greater File Chapel Baptist Church for 14 years. She was also the first ever female president of the Baptist Ministers Conference of New York City and Vicinity Incorporated. Reverend Dr. Harris, retired after 35 plus years with the New York City Board of Education as a school teacher, She's a graduate of the prestigious New York University, NYU, with a Bachelor of Science and earned her master's degree at Fordham University, another Ivy League school. She went on to earn her Master of Divinity degree from New York Theological Seminary and then went on to complete the requirements and earned her Doctor of Ministry degree in 2023. Her ministerial goal as pastor has and continues to be guiding people to salvation and growing in the nurture and admonition of our Lord and Savior so that they become the persons the Lord planned for them to be. As president of the conference, her goal was to guide the affiliated ministers in the things that help them to become better servants in their respective churches and the community at large. Reverend Dr. Geraldine L. Harris is the mother of one son, one daughter, and the grandmother of two grandchildren. So would you welcome with me tonight my very special guest, Reverend Dr. Geraldine L. Harris, pastor of the Greater File Chapel Baptist Church in the village of Harlem, New York City, USA. I think I got it all in there. I believe I did. Did I? Did I miss
Yes, you
anything?
did.
Okay, good, 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 good. Listen, I need you to turn your camera on, number one, and number two, um, I read your bio. They know a little bit about you, but would you tell us something about you that we don't know and we really should know? You muted yourself. You didn't turn your camera on. You muted yourself. So unmute, turn camera on, and answer that wonderful question that I just asked you.
Uh,
You muted again. You did it again. You muted yourself. You're muted. We can't hear you. Think you hit the wrong button. So try it again if you don't mind. Just unmute. There you go. And that other button, the one with the camera, will turn your camera on so we can see you too. So I read the bio. They know a little bit about you, but now tell us something about you that we don't know and we really should know. You muted again. You may have to go out and come back in because you're doing that kind of regularly. Might be a flaw in there.
yeah.
Okay. Because it keeps coming in and out. It keeps going back and forth. So why don't you log off and log back in, and we'll bring you back in. You should be okay, and then you can turn your camera on as well. So we'll do that. In the meantime, I'll ask the challenge question again. I'm going to get rid of this for a moment so that you guys can look at me, and we'll wait. But what evidence is there that God is shaping true virtue in you, or are you still trying to manage your life in your own strength? You can start answering that question now because that's going to be the question that's going to drive us this evening in our conversation. So, what evidence, and this is asking you, what evidence do you see in your life that God is actually shaping true virtue in you, or are you still trying to manage your life in your own strength? Okay, so that's the question. If we'll wait for Dr. Harris to come back on, and we'll go from there, and we will be able to continue that conversation. But I hope you had an opportunity to read the devotional. If you did not, I read it for you just a moment ago, but you need to go back and read it, particularly if you're celebrating because you had a Mother's Day celebration, or you were celebrating your mother, or you were just thinking about the maternal nurture that you got in your life from some other person. And I had to have that as well because my mother lost too soon, gone too soon. Someone else stepped into our life, my aunt, my cousin, and she literally was there for us when we needed her the most. So we always had that maternal touch. It just wasn't from my mother at that time. So, interestingly enough, there's always someone that's influenced you at one point or another. So, what evidence is there that um, that God is shaping your life, shaping true virtue in you? Or are you still trying to manage your life in your own strength? So, yep, you can go ahead and start answering that question because I'm going to be asking that question all night long. As you know how we do it. You've been around long enough, you know how we do it. So, those of you who are online, just type in your answer in the chat. I will see it if you're online on Facebook. The same thing applies. If you just tap and put it in there, I will see that as well. I'm monitoring all of the avenues, so all of the venues, so I will be able to see that. But what evidence is there that God is shaping true virtue in you, or are you still trying to manage your life in your own strength? Okay. So that's where we are. By the way, let me just say this to you while we're waiting for Dr. Harris to come back on. Happy belated Mother's Day. For those of you who celebrated Mother's Day, as you know, I celebrated my birthday on Friday. Dr. Harris likewise celebrated a birthday. We'll talk about that a little more in the show. But yes, this is a season for me anyway, where as I wrote last week, new year, new you, where I was able to reassess my year and decide what I'm going to do with myself. What am I going to do? What's this year going to look like for me? Yesterday's past. It's a canceled check. Now I'm looking at what's going on today and tomorrow. And so you didn't have to wait for your birthday to do that. You can do that anytime you want. And I invite you to do that with me now, to look at who you are and where it is that you intend to go in your life, so that you will become the person that God intended you to be before the beginning of time. So that's the direction that we're going in. You know, my thought for the year: stress less, trust more, live blessed. So that's my thought. That's my thought for you. That's my prayer for you. And it's also for myself. Stress less, trust more, live blessed. I don't know what's going on with Dr. Harris. I shouldn't have taken it that long to get back in. Let me see what's going on. So y'all bear with me for a moment. I'm going to send her a text. See if I can figure out what's going on, why she's not coming back on. Um, and my phone just lost some of its functionality. So what's going on with me? Okay, we'll figure it out. Let's see. Y'all can ask me a question if you like. It's all right. Type it in. Type it in there. I'll see it. Um, let's see what happened. Where are you, my sister? Okay, we'll try it again. See what happens. So, can I ask the question again? What evidence is there that God is shaping true virtue in you? Or are you still trying to manage your life in your own strength? And then I can ask another question after that. How's that working for you? How's that working for you? Um, are you familiar with the history of Mother's Day and how it came about? I put it in the devotional so that you could read some of it, but I want you to comment because I need you to talk to me as we wait for Dr. Harris to get with us. I need you. She says it's blocking her. I don't know why. Um, it's blocking her. Hmm, that's interesting. Let me try something. Y'all bear with me, okay? Because we're trying to get this together. Let me try this. I'm going to send her an invite. See if I can get her that way. Um, let's see. Y'all bear with me. Just be with me. I don't want to play any music because then they may punish me at Facebook. So I don't want to do that. But I am going to try something. I'm going to text her again with this. Okay, let's see what happens with that. Silence is not good on radio, you know that, right? So we're just trying to get this together. I don't want to do anything until I bring her in. I don't want to lose any of our thunder, any of our fire. I can share a couple of stories with you. I will do that. And oh, there she is. See, don't have to wait anymore. There we go. And there she is. I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you. So we've been waiting for you. It's quite okay.
I am so sorry.
You don't have to apologize. It's okay. Listen, technology is great when it works. When it doesn't, it can be a pain in the neck. For sure. For
And
sure.
especially my system. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So see if you can find that camera so you can turn it on. It says video. If you click it, yeah, I think you got a red line going through it. Nope, that's your mute. That's your mute button. Not that one, the other one. The one that says video. One looks like a little camera.
No, I don't see that.
Look at the bottom or wherever you're, or look in the little three dots, says more.
No.
Uh, are you on your phone? Oh, you muted again. Are
I'm
you on
on my phone.
okay, so you have to turn your phone sideways so it opens the screen wider.
Okay.
Now you should see your video down at the bottom. You should see it says video.
No, I see host and executive producer.
No, that's my picture. No, no, it's one of the commands. You see where you were able to mute yourself. You see what that is? You see the little microphone? Yeah, you just muted yourself again. You can find that one pretty easily. So just unmute for now. Just unmute that. Just tap that again so it brings you back on so we can hear you. Okay, so now you're back with us. Now, if do you see anything besides that button and anywhere on the screen?
It says I'm in the safe driving mode and I say leave. I don't want to leave.
No, you don't want to leave. So you probably have your phone on safe driving mode and it thinks that you're in a car. So your phone is doing that to you.
Uh-huh.
Phone is doing that because I texted you earlier and your phone said to me that you're driving.
Yes.
So you have to go into your phone settings.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to help you now. But go into your phone settings, and then you have an Android or you have an iPhone.
I have an iPhone.
So let's see now. You should have. I don't know how you did that to yourself, but you have. If you go into your settings, then what you would do is in your settings. I think you have. Let me see settings. I'm trying to do this with you. I was about to say,
This is so embarrassing.
no, it's not. This is technology. We need young people around to help us with this stuff.
I tell you that. And I don't have anybody in here but me.
Let's
Okay.
see. Let's see. I don't know where to go. Let me see.
I don't even know where my setting is at this moment.
Well, just go in the search bar and you can find it.
For
Um,
you. Okay, I see. How to leave a medic. Uh-huh.
yeah. If somebody out there knows how to do that, so I don't have to search for it either because I never use it. I know it's there. I never use it. Because when I'm driving, I just happen to be driving, but I don't use that. But
Yeah, and I'm not in my car now, and that's
right,
why
it
it
should
jumped on.
yep, should pick that up too. When you're not in your car, it should pick it up. Let's see controls. I just don't know where it is in the command area in the settings area.
I don't either. Is there any way that we can continue to talk?
Yeah, yeah, you can talk. That's fine. You can continue to talk, and we'll figure it out. Maybe when we go to the second half, we'll be able to pick it up, and somebody will tell me what to do, or I'll
Or,
figure it out. I'll
or
look in.
I'll go out to my car.
So, yeah. So my question was, I read your bio, and they know something about you. They know some things about you, but tell us something about you that we don't know and we really should know.
Mm. I really can't think of anything that people don't know, except that I guess you would say I'm more friendly than I come off
Ah,
as being most of the time. I just have trust issues. um, since I have trusted people and they turn out not to be people that I should have trusted.
got you. That's interesting. That's very interesting because you saying that people might mistake your persona, if you will, for your personality,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and that's not who you are.
No.
So people think you're hard and sort of austere, but you're really a friendly and very jovial person. You really are. I know you, so I know that that's true. I know that's true.
Yes.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you deal with that? I mean, because this is not something new. I'll tell you this. I can share this with you because you probably would appreciate it. Years ago, there was a song out, and I was a DJ, so I remember all of these songs that I used to play. But there was a song by Santa Esmeralda. I don't know if you remember that group or not.
No.
It was a disco song, and it was entitled, "Oh Lord, Please Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood."
Mm.
That was the title. And I always used to think that myself because I thought that to a large extent, people misunderstood me a lot.
Okay.
And I just I don't know, maybe it's a trait for those of us who born close together. Uh,
Okay. All right. Us May people.
maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I mean people, sometimes they approach me and they say things. I said, but that's not me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because they would swear that it is. So not at all, because they think that they look at the facade and they think they see the interior of the building.
Okay. Could it be because we are sincere about serving God that we don't allow a lot of nonsense in our presence and etc.? Could that be it?
That could very well be it, because sometimes you come across as being someone who is very focused.
Right.
And so when people come to you and they're not focused, it kind of makes them uncomfortable. But I
Mm-hmm.
remember, I remember there was a poem, not a poem, but it was a statement that Nelson Mandela even shared. He said, you don't do anybody any good by making yourself small to help them feel big.
Very true.
So they may not get it, but you have to be true to yourself. Yeah, I was speaking, who was I speaking to today? And we were talking about that very thing in terms of people, um, you know, not being who they are so that other people feel comfortable around them. And you have to be true to yourself. You can't be a phony. I think we would, in this instance, we were talking about um uh uh, uh, uh it was you. We were talking about dealing with kids, right? Working with
Yes.
kids and working
Yes.
with people who are
Yes.
incarcerated, and
Mm-hmm.
and people wanted you to say, well, maybe you ought to show a different exterior so that
Yes.
they would make you feel comfortable. It was you that we were talking about that
Yes, when I
earlier.
was talking about in order to work with the children that were incarcerated in juvenile facilities, they wanted us to wear Timberlands and
Mm,
jeans and talk sort of in a slang manner, which is not me.
right, right. Right. I think I got the answer to the question, by the way.
Okay.
In your settings, there's a command that says focus.
In my settings,
Yeah, in your settings. If you go to settings on your telephone, So if you go to your settings, go to settings, there is a command that says focus.
Okay.
And in that command, you tap driving.
Mm.
You see it?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so in your settings, there is a command that says focus. It looks like a moon.
Okay, I see a lot of stuff.
Yep, it says in settings. When you go to settings,
Mm-hmm.
scroll down. It's in the one, two, it's in the third block of things, notifications, sound haptics, focus, and then screen time. You see focus?
No,
Okay, so you're in settings, right?
I
You're in
don't think.
settings.
I think I'm in apps.
Okay, so you don't want to be in apps, but apps, you come out of that
Mm-hmm.
and just come to settings. Just click settings. Just come all over and just click settings.
Mm-hmm.
Open up
Mm-hmm.
and you'll see everything. It'll be airplane mode, Wi-Fi, all that stuff.
Yeah, I see that
Okay,
now.
so keep scrolling down until you see the thing that says focus.
Yes.
You see it? Tap it. And then when you tap it, it opens up another box and it says driving. It says do not disturb driving. So tap driving.
Okay. Now I don't see. I see do not disturb, but I don't see driving.
Okay, well, tap do not disturb.
Okay. Do not.
Is it on or is it toggled on?
Mm. Mm. Okay. I'm in here, and it gives me a choice to add. No. I see the moon. It says do not disturb, and it says allow people or apps. Do you see that?
Nope, I don't see that. But
Okay.
click allow people or apps and see what happens. You get another drop down menu there.
Yeah.
And does it open up? Can you scroll all the way down to Zoom?
Mm-mm. Okay. It says when do not disturb is on, notification from people you select will be allowed.
Right. So that means that if you click do not disturb, only people that you've selected can reach you. So for instance, like during this broadcast,
Mm-hmm.
no one can call me during this broadcast.
Okay.
It will not call me. They'll have to leave a message.
Okay. I
Okay.
see. I see a place where it also says silence notifications from.
Yeah, you don't want to do any of that because then that means that anybody that's trying to notify you from a particular source, they will not be able to get through to you because they'll be silenced completely. You won't get a notification from them. But all you're trying to do is give access to your video. And so I'm thinking that because you had driving mode on, I'm thinking that you might have um somehow or another deselected your video. But
Mm-hmm.
that's normally not the case because normally Zoom operates on its own system. So just like you have the mute there, you have that microphone there. If you come over a bit, if you can get down to all of the menu, you might see it. And if you don't, do you see three dots? Come out of all that setting stuff. Just come out of all that nonsense. And let's go on back over to Zoom. Let's use that. Come back to the Zoom screen where you see me. Are we there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So with that, then what you would do is look at your the bottom of your screen and or somewhere around. I don't know if it's on the bottom or the side of your screen, and see if you see the mute button because you've pressed it a couple of times. But are there any other commands there?
Not really commands. It says done speaking. And so if I hit that, I guess that's when I'm muting myself.
Right, correct.
Now, at the bottom of my screen, there's two dots. One is white and one is gray.
Click the white dot. You don't see one, you don't see a circle with three dots in it?
No.
Hmm, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, so let's see. On my screen, um,
On what kind of phone you using?
I use an iPhone.
Oh, you got an iPhone. Well, maybe yours is more modern than mine.
I don't know, but I'm looking at it. I'm looking at my phone, and I see. Let me see. Let's see if in setting that. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Settings. Nope. That's what it was before. Don't do that. Um, closed caption. Okay, here. Okay, do me a favor. Tap the bottom of your screen. You see where you see, do you see your picture on the screen?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, or
Oh,
you see me, right? You see me
I
on the screen.
see you,
Okay.
and at the top is a figure with my name under it.
Okay, so what you do is tap the bottom of the screen and you'll see something else pop up. Okay? And you'll see three dots down there.
No.
You don't see the three dots.
No, I tell you, I only have two dots.
Tap the two dots.
And now it says your name and host and the executive producer. And if under those two dots, a
Uh,
line showed up, which means it's probably going to switch me out.
yeah, you don't see anything that says video at all, huh?
No.
Okay. Oh well, we just have to do it without the video.
Yeah.
Deal. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll do that. So listen, so you know what we're talking about. So you just, but you can see the screen, right? If I share my screen, you'll be able to see it. Let me make sure that you can see the screen if I when I share it. So let me see. I had you up before. Let me do that again. So I'm going to share my screen just to make sure that you can follow along with me. Um, so you see that. Give me a minute and you'll see it. Do you see the screen? You see the share?
I see a picture of me.
Okay, good. And your bio is next to it.
Right.
Okay, good. So you do see it. You can share the screen. Okay, so you see that. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just do that, and I took that down now, so I'm not sharing that screen right now. Um, and so let's go ahead and talk. I mean, you read the devotional. You know what we're talking about, the essence of a mother, which of course you are a mother, and you saw the direction that I was going in with the devotional, which was in fact in the direction of a mother, but also it was talking about virtue as it relates to people in general. You know, mothers being the primary focus, women and mothers, but we men need the same thing. We need to have virtue too, right? We and you were talking about it, we alluded to it when we were talking about these working with these kids and being someone other than yourself and trying to be authentic with them while playing a role of being someone that you're not. So is that in my opinion, that's not a virtuous perspective. That's not coming virtuously to a situation. I think that's, you're kind of trying to, you're skirting the issues because you are, you're sort of not being who you really are.
Right. And when we use the word virtuous,
Hmm.
most people right away think of somebody spotless, they don't make mistakes, uh, that type of thing. So a lot of times, because of the word virtuous, they automatically sort of turn off because they feel that you are better than them because of that one particular word.
Ah, okay. So in other words, they look at it and say that's an unattainable goal.
Yes.
So now they think that you're not being authentic because you can't achieve the goal of being virtuous. So now you're pretending. So they kind of wrap that around this whole concept of virtuous because they don't understand that virtue doesn't mean perfect. Spot.
Right.
Got it.
Um, and especially when it comes to motherhood,
Mm-hmm.
um, like I have someone, it's very difficult for them to, when people are sharing in our study groups and so forth about their family, and if
Mm-hmm.
their family seems to have been one that was supportive, they were happy, they can't deal with it because they didn't have that type of family.
Mm.
And so
Mm.
we have to understand that a family is the people who love you. Although we only, most of the time, we only think of family as the bloodline, your mother, your natural sister, your natural brother, and so forth. And since most, I won't say, let me change that word. Since a lot of Black families, there's no father in the picture. And so their family only consists of mother and maybe aunties and etc. And so it's like the family concept, especially the way God intended for it to be, for a lot of people don't exist. And so they can't relate to what you're talking about. And so it makes it harder for you to try to present a supportive structure for
Mm.
them.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, and I mentioned that in the devotional about dysfunctionality,
Mm-hmm.
that you can come from a space where, where the abnormal seems normal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you tend to think that that's the way everything is because that's the way you grew up. So the absence of a male figure, the dominance of women, the idea that women basically control in your life everything. They paid all the bills, they made all the rules, and there was nothing that came in from a male's perspective. And so virtuousness looks like what you said before, a spotless, you know, don't the person that doesn't make mistakes, but if they do, they kind of clean them up and keep it moving just to keep your head above water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that seems to be what they determine to be virtuous,
Yeah.
when you can keep your head above water. And of course, if you happen to grow up as a young man in that environment, then sometimes you also take it that the men have nothing to do with anything that goes on that's productive. They just disappear.
So true. Can I just make you laugh for a moment?
Absolutely.
I taught many grade levels
Mm-hmm.
in the public school. And I was sharing not too long ago about this one little boy who thought there was something wrong with me because I didn't drink beer.
Mm.
He grew up in his family where every morning before he went to school, now, never mind, this was third grade.
Mm.
And every morning before he came to school, he had to go get his mother beer and some cigarettes. And then he came to school. And so one day I had him like in a counseling session because we was trying to get him to correct his hygiene and so forth because he didn't comb his hair and
Mm.
most of the time he did not bathe. And so he asked me what was my favorite drink. And I said Pepsi or iced tea. And
Mm-hmm.
he said, "That's all?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "What's wrong with you? You don't drink beer?" So for him, the norm was to drink beer. And so because I didn't drink beer, there was something wrong with me. So the guidance counselor and I, we had a hard time trying to get him to see that people do different things and people like different drinks and so forth.
Mm,
You know, doesn't mean anything wrong with them. They just made a different choice. That way he didn't have to feel that his there was something wrong with his mother, that
right.
he had to go get her a beer and cigarettes before he come to school. 8-year-old kid.
Right. That's why he didn't have time to bathe. He had to go to the store.
You know, but I was reflecting on how when you're a public figure and being a public school teacher, you're a public figure, there's
Right.
expectations for you, and then you try to help the children come up to some of those standards. Sometimes you have an uphill battle, and a lot of times you never win it,
Hmm.
and so forth.
That's very interesting. I would, interestingly enough, I grew up in a household that had a lot of alcohol drinking too.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was standard, there you are.
Mm-hmm.
Now you gotta lower your camera because I can see the top of your head. There you go. So,
Okay.
and you know what? All I had to do is just tap one, ask you to turn on your camera, and it came on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just tapped.
That was interesting. So interestingly enough, when we turned 18 in my family,
Mm-hmm.
that gave us permission to drink.
Oh, okay. At least 18.
Well, yeah, but we were drinking all the time anyway.
Oh, okay.
In fact, so I'll share this with you tonight. Those of you who are listening, you can understand that I didn't grow up in a minister. I didn't grow up in a minister's house. I'm not a PK or anything like that. Um, I found a draft card when I was like 12 years old, 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Draft cards, draft cards, and they used to
Mm-hmm.
describe, and that was a form of ID for people who had been drafted and so on and so forth. Well, I found one, and it described me to a T. I was short. I was the shortest guy in the neighborhood, right? I was real short at the time, and I looked like a little kid. That-
Okay.
but the draft card described me to even have my birthmark down.
Mm.
Unbelievable. So I'm at 12 years old, and I know it was 12 because my mother was still alive. My mother died when I was 14, so this is before my mother died. I was the designated liquor buyer for everybody, all of our friends. So I go to the liquor store, and they're like, and they would look at me and they would just laugh, right? What are you talking about? I said, yeah, I said, look, give me the bottle, and I would talk like I was, like an adult.
Okay.
And they would laugh at me. Man, leave my store. I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Listen, I'm grown." I said, "What are you talking about?" So I flipped the the draft card on them. I knew every detail on it. I knew every detail. I knew every number that was on it. You couldn't ask me anything that I didn't know because I memorized everything. And they would look. They said, "How old are you?" I said, "I'm 23." Like, what? Nah. I said, "Look," I said, "Here's my draft card. What do you want me to do?" So they would ask me questions and I would answer all of them. They said, "Man, you look young." I said, "Yeah, it's good genes. Give me the wine." And I was the designated liquor buyer in the community, for all of our friends, because I was the only one that had a draft card. And it just
Okay.
I found it. So I look at that now, we say all things work together for good to those who love the Lord and called according to his purpose. I didn't know that the Lord was in my life to that degree back then.
Right.
What the Lord was saying to me is that, look, you're going to be tempted in life for a lot of different reasons and for a lot of different things,
Mm-hmm.
because it would have been real easy to I mean, I think I did become an alcoholic as a child, right? Because they say if you ever black out, you're an alcoholic. Well, I did that many, many times, but I never went to that side. I never decided that that's what I'm going to do. I said, that's not what I want to do. That's not who I want to be. And so the drinking stopped, the drugs stopped, all of the debauchery stopped because I had a determination that I was going to live my life according to God's desire for me and not mine. So I would love to see that little boy today that you talked to that used to buy his mother in the third grade beer at 3, and his mother used to send him to the store to get cigarettes
Yeah,
and
loose cigarettes. Uh-huh.
yeah, and he couldn't. he was too young to buy any of it, but they would give it to him because they know we're getting it from his for his mama.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to see where he is today.
I would too, you know. Um, we never know. When we look at scripture, it says the mother instills in the child character,
Mm,
and she values the child. But when we look at some of our circumstances in life, we wonder, in what ways do parents value their children?
mm,
Especially the ones, that we would consider unfit parents. But since motherhood is a sacred gift, it's a calling from God. God, as you said, God has a purpose for those children. And he knew all about the mothers before he allowed the child to be born into that family.
mm-hmm,
There had to be something like God within that person that would mold and shape that child into what they were going to be in life.
mm.
And I would hope that they were like you and I. They went on God's side instead of the side of the world.
Yeah, yeah, and that's interesting because I think we're always in that tug of war. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Satan's pulling from one direction, and the Lord is kind of standing there, and he doesn't pull. He
Mm-hmm.
just stands there and says, "Look, behold, I stand at the door and
Mm-hmm.
knock." You have to make a decision. It's
Yes.
easy. It's easy to go in the other direction, but you have to make a decision to be on the Lord's side.
Mm-hmm.
You just
Mm-hmm.
have to make that decision. But once you make that decision, then all of the strength that you need to do anything that is necessary, he gives it to you.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
So you don't have to worry about that. Once you decide that I'm going to follow Jesus, he will give you all of the equipment that you need in order to do the work that he wants you to do, to be the person that he created you to be.
And on that note, I'm glad that he does, because a lot of times we really don't know what it means to be on the Lord's side,
That's right. That's
and
right.
what it is that we need in order to change
Mm,
the direction that we are going.
right. Right. No doubt about it. Because, I was reading one of my devotionals. The author he says, nobody has to teach anybody how to sin. That's a
Right.
natural born tendency.
Mm-hmm.
You have to teach people how to be virtuous. Because
Yes.
virtuosity is not a natural thing. It's cultivated.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talked about being spotless and don't make mistakes, it's not that you don't make mistakes. It's not that you are spotless. It's just that you have been cultivated so that when you make a mistake, you know that you can go back and correct a mistake,
Yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't linger. It doesn't fester and become a sore and then become cancerous and then wipe you out because you don't know how to treat it. You know.
And I would have to sort of blame us as ministers,
Mm,
because a lot of times we are so anxious to get the message across that
mm,
Jesus saves, that people think that from the moment that they say, "Yes, Lord," and if they are baptized, they don't expect to make any more mistakes.
mm.
And we have to be careful to remind them or help them understand that salvation, yes, is free. um, from the moment that you accept Jesus,
Mhm.
you have, as you said, you have everything that you need in order to become the person that God wants you to be. But most of the time people expect total sanctification, total walking in the presence and power of God without any mistakes. And the moment they make a mistake, a lot of people go back into the world.
Yeah, it's easy because I know
Yeah,
where I've been. Easy to go back there.
yeah. But and a lot of times, a lot of ministries, they give up on you when you go back into the world,
Hmm.
because they
Hmm.
say you weren't saved from the beginning,
Right. Right.
instead of remembering that even we made a few mistakes and probably still making mistakes as
Hmm.
long as we've been on the road. we still fall short every now and then. There are still some traps that are set for us that if we're not cautious, we will fall into.
That's a great segue for us. We're gonna, because we're at the top of the hour. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take a break. I want to go back. I want to recognize the sponsors and advertisers. I want to read the devotional again, ask the challenge question, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna finish the second half as well as strongly as we started the first. But here's what we also want to do. I put that question, that challenge question out there, and I want the audience to begin to answer that question. And if you answer the question, I promise you we will bring you into the conversation so that you're no longer a fly on the wall, but you're part of the conversation. Now, if you don't answer it, then, Dr. Harris and I, we're going to continue to talk. But if you do answer it, then we can also include you in our conversation. Or if you have a comment or you have a question that you want to ask, or if you have something that you want to sort of share with us that we might want to dialogue about, you can put that in the chat and we'll see that as well. So what I'm going to do, you can now, you see the button that says your video, right? I'm going to go ghost for a moment. You can likewise if you want to, and we're going to go into our announcements and other things, and then we'll come back in a few moments and finish off the broadcast tonight. And please, ma'am, please, sir, don't forget to support our sponsors and advertisers, the JLR Company and J. Lauren R. Consulting LLC for all your church financial consulting needs. JLORENR at JLR.LLC or call 718-328-8096. It's not about the castle. It's all about the kingdom. And Matters of Faith, the book. The hard copy can be acquired from our Zelle account, JLORENR at JLR.LLC. The book is $24.15. You can also send a check or money order to the JLR Company, Post Office Box 301, New York, New York 10035. That's P.O. Box 301, New York, New York 10035. And you can also get it as an ebook, so you can take it with you wherever you go. www.smashwords.com/books/view/993177. And don't forget to check out the Eat Okra app for black-owned restaurants and a whole lot more about food all over the nation. That's right, Eat Okra. Professional, compassionate, and family-friendly services at your time of bereavement. John J. Fox and Sons Incorporated Funeral Services. If you need them, know that they proudly serve the Bronx community and have been doing so for the last 125 years. When you're in need, give them a call. 718-733-9114. That's 718-733-9114. John J. Fox and Sons Funeral Services. Your focus in your business are on profitability, and rightly so. Your church is on spiritual excellence, and it should be. But if you let E.G. Edwards and Associates Incorporated handle your accounting and taxation needs, they do it with competence and professional excellence, and it will take your mind off of a lot of the things that you need to do in order to maintain your business profitability and your spiritual excellence. They're just a phone call away. 718-949-5181. 718-949-5181. E.G. Edwards and Associates are here to help. 718-949-5181. And please get your subscription to Better Mag magazine today. A 2-year subscription is still only $27.50, and you can get it by going to www.abettermag.com. That's www.abettermag.com. And please, ma'am, please, sir, subscribe, like, and share our Matters of Faith YouTube channel. That's Matters of Faith YouTube channel. And while you're at it, please subscribe to the Matters of Faith blog. Just go to www.mattersoffaith.blog, put in your email address, tap the Sign Me Up link, and you'll get an email. Confirm it, and anytime and every time anything is published through Matters of Faith, you will be notified. So make sure that you support and sponsor our advertisers and our sponsors. I'm still super excited about our Matters of Faith blog. please go to www.mattersoffaith.blog. www.mattersoffaith.blog. Click the subscribe button. Type in your email address. Hit that bar that says sign me up. You will receive a confirmation of thanks and then a confirmation email. If you confirm that, you will receive everything that we publish. www.mattersoffaith.blog. The Disciples of the Evangelical Church of God, located at 1205 Washington Avenue in the Bronx, New York, invites each and every one of you to be a part of our worship services on Sunday at 1 p.m. We meet on the first and third Sundays in person, but every Sunday we meet via Zoom, 873-6003-1163. Let me give it to you again, 873-6003-1163. This coming Sunday is Mother's Day. So please, ma'am, bring your mother, bring your aunt, bring your sister, but join us for Mother's Day on May 10th at 1 p.m. We will be on Zoom, so make sure you're there. We look forward to seeing you. This is our invitation to you. We will hopefully see you on this Sunday and the Sundays to come. We love you. There's nothing you can do about it, so get used to it. And as I said before, if you missed it, if you weren't there yesterday, you missed it and we missed you. So make sure that you come and join us next week. We'll be on Zoom, and the week after when we meet face to face. And we do have a fifth Sunday in the month, and so we will be in person on the 31st of May. Imagine this. An employee wakes up with a sick child, a prescription to fill, stress building at home, and no time to sit in a waiting room. With Revitalized Health or Integrity Health, they can reach concierge medical care quickly, get help navigating the system, access mental health support, and tap into prescription assistance without feeling like they're doing it all alone. This is what changes lives, not a brochure, not a promise, real continued support when real life happens. And yes, the employer may save some money too. Give us a call. Maximize employee wellness, minimize business costs. 718-757-1527. 718-757-1527. The JLR Company is here to help. 718-757-1527. If you're a business owner and you want a benefit that will give you money in your pocket and a benefit to your employees, don't miss this. 718-757-1527. Let me help you. I'd appreciate it. And so will you. Hey, my birthday was last Friday, May 8th. I want to thank you all for the shout outs that you gave me. I appreciate it much. If you want to bless me financially, you can do so. There's two ways to do it. There's Cash App, $JLaurenR, the number 1, or you can use Zelle, JLORENR @gmail.com, Cash App or Zelle. If you want to bless me financially, I'll accept it. But thank you for the well wishes. Thank you for being there with us. And God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. You know I love you, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. So get used to it. And now the devotional, The Essence of a Mother. The link to that devotional can be found at www.mattersoffaith.blog. That's www.mattersoffaith.blog. Please subscribe. You can also find the column and the devotional in the Yonkers Insider, www.yonkersinsider.blogspot.com. That's www.yonkersinsider.blogspot.com. You can also find it in Better Mag Magazine, www.abettermag.com. That's www.abettermag.com. The column is also carried in the Positive Community Magazine and or their newsletter, www.thepositivecommunity.com. That's www.thepositivecommunity.com. The column is also carried in Pamela's Big Heart newsletter, The Essence of a Mother. Proverbs chapter 31, verses 10 through 31, Contemporary English Version. A truly good wife is the most precious treasure a man can find. Her husband depends on her, and she never lets him down. She is good to him every day of her life, and with her own hands she gladly makes clothes. She is like a sailing ship that brings food from across the sea. She gets up before daylight to prepare food for her family and for her servants. She knows how to buy land and how to plant a vineyard. and she always works hard. She knows when to buy or sell, and she stays busy until late at night. She spins her own cloth, and she helps the poor and the needy. Her family has warm clothing, and so she doesn't worry when it snows. She does her own sewing, and everything she wears is beautiful. Her husband is a well-known and respected leader in the city. She makes clothes to sell to the shop owners. She is strong and graceful, as well as cheerful about the future. Her words are sensible, and her advice is thoughtful. She takes good care of her family and is never lazy. Her children praise her, and with great pride her husband says, "There are many good women, but you are the best." Charm can be deceiving, and beauty fades away, but a woman who honors the Lord deserves to be praised. Show her respect. Praise her in public for what she has done. The essence of a mother. Does the birth of children define the characteristics of a virtuous mother? Proverbs 31 takes a different approach, saying the essence of a virtuous mother begins with a woman, a wife, who is regarded as a precious treasure by her husband. She is a woman that he cannot live without. She is described as a truly good woman, precious, dependable, talented, industrious, savvy, generous, compassionate, empathetic, strong, graceful, cheerful, sensible, insightful, honorable, beautiful, proud, respectful, loving, kind, sensual, thoughtful, caring, sharing, and God-fearing. The author describes a truly good or virtuous woman as someone who handles her business and loves her family, especially those who call her mother. Anna Jarvis fought to have this day set aside nationally to celebrate and honor the love, care, and sacrifices mothers made for their children and the services they give to their communities. What's interesting is that while Jarvis never married or had children, she clearly recognized the value of motherhood. Without the aid of modern technology, email, or AI, a massive letter writing campaign to newspapers and prominent politicians resulted in 1914 President Woodrow Wilson signed a measure officially establishing the second Sunday in May as Mother's Day. If I could write for every grateful child who had a loving mother, biological or surrogate, the most profound thing I would say is that God has honored her for the love she gave to others. Personally, my mother was gone too soon, but she left an incredible reservoir of love and compassion that not only overflows in my heart, but overflows and is evidenced in the lives of my three siblings through the love they express to their own children. As the lone childless sibling, I got to see the influence of my mother's love in the lives of my siblings' children. It really doesn't matter whether your mother had all or none of the qualities found in Proverbs 31. What matters is how you respect and honor her for the one that she has and what she has done for you. Notwithstanding, sometimes the best thing a mother can do is let her children go. If nothing else, we all can and should respect and honor our mothers because she brought us into this world. For that reason alone, you now can make this world a much better place than it was when you were born into it, and to do for your children and the community what she may not have had the ability to do. As a matter of faith, any woman, whether a mother or not, who has the essence of a virtuous mother should be giving her praises while she can hear them. Her children praise her, and with great pride her husband says, "There are many good women, but you are the best." So today, follow Stevie Wonder's advice and just call to say, "I love you." And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. If you can't call her, pay her a visit, say a prayer, or just spend some quiet time thanking her for being your mother. Happy Mother's Day. And now my question for the final time this evening. What evidence is there that God is shaping true virtue in you? Or are you still trying to manage your life in your own strength? Let's make sure that you got that question. What evidence is there that God is shaping true virtue in you? Or are you still trying to manage your life in your own strength? She really is a Renaissance woman, having done so much for so many for so long, and such a wide variety of spaces, including school system and, of course, in houses of worship, reaching out to God's people and encouraging them to find their way in the Lord. So, Matters of Faith family, would you help me in welcoming tonight again for the second half of this broadcast my very special guest, Reverend Dr. Geraldine L. Harris, who also celebrated a birthday on May 5th. So, happy birthday, happy Mother's Day, and welcome back to Matters of Faith, the radio show. Ta-da! Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I put some pictures up there. I found some
I
pictures.
see
Do a little
that.
digging. I found some stuff. So tell us what we're looking at. I know the flowers. I know what they are, but and I know where you are when you're preaching. I know that. I know that background. I know that backdrop. But would you tell us so everybody will know what we're looking at here? All these folks.
Okay, well, you're looking at the nurses of Greater Fowl Chapel. And on the side there, you're looking at my oldest grandson, my daughter, and it looks as though the younger one wasn't there.
Hmm.
But this is the Harris legacy. Come
Oh,
one, come all, serve Jesus.
love it. Love it. And you were preaching at,
Greater St. Stephen's.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
Stevens Baptist Church.
Yeah, right there in Harlem.
Right there in Harlem. That's good. That's all
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
figured I'd catch you when you were doing what you do and with your family and with the people that you serve, and then recognizing that you did have a celebration not long ago, just a few days, and I wanted to make sure I recognized all of those things. So, hey, we're in the second half of our broadcast tonight, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So I'm
Yes,
gonna
it
stop the
is.
share. I'm gonna stop the share, and we're gonna take it from there. I wanted to share with you. I wanted to first of all look and see because I wanted to see what people were saying. And by the way, I want to thank Sister Collins because she was trying to instruct me in terms of how to get you on. And I
Oh, good.
doing that. I thank you for doing that. Figured it out, and I appreciate everything that was done to help. So, Andrew, dear friend of mine, I've known Andrew for over 40 years, close to 50 now. He says, I was raised in church. However, when I came home from Vietnam, I left God, but God did not leave me. When I entered Mount Carmel Baptist Church, I gave my life to God.
Mm.
He said, I didn't manage myself, but God managed me.
Okay. Okay.
So, yep. So I wanted to share that with you because that was some he was putting that question out there, the question I put out there, in what ways, what evidence is there that God is shaping you in virtue, or are you trying to do it yourself?
Right. I like what he said, that he was in church,
Mm-hmm.
but he left God, but God didn't leave him. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of times we walk away from God, but God doesn't walk away from us. He's always there with us, and he gives us the opportunity to grow into the understanding that we need God each and every day.
Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. And it's interesting because I often say that we may be in the church, but the church ain't in us.
Right.
So it's easy to walk away if there's no connection, if there's no relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then if we walk away, it's interesting. I mean, the Bible talks about going after the one lost sheep, and he will do that. He will make sure that he goes after the one lost sheep because the sheep is in the pasture. They just went astray.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The Bible never said that you will not go astray, but
Right.
it said train up a child in the way they should go, and when they were old, they will not depart from it. Doesn't mean that you won't stray, but
Mm.
if you don't depart, you'll come back. Something
Yeah.
will be drawing you back, and that's the interesting thing because although I spoke about my childhood, and we didn't really go to church, I went to Sunday school.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Sunday school. In fact, I still have the first Bible ever given to me.
Mm.
My Sunday school class. I was 10 years old, my 10th birthday.
Okay.
Never forget it. I never forget it. I tell the story all the time. I went back to the church that I went to Sunday school at to preach when I became a minister.
Mm.
Sunday school teacher was still there.
Okay.
She had no idea who I was. Had no idea. I was like that little boy that you talked about. I was like that little boy that used to buy, cigarettes and beer for his mama when I was in the third grade, because I came back and I was a completely different man, but I
Okay.
remember, the seeds that were planted and I had evidence in it in my hand because I had the New Testament Bible that was given to me that she signed
Okay.
So I knew it was from her. So
Okay.
it was an amazing thing, and it was transformative in the fact that, now suddenly I am at a place in my life where I can appreciate the things that have gone on through my life and the people who have made
Yes.
contributions.
Yes. Mm. Yes, we can. Because when things are happening to us, we don't understand why they're happening
Mm,
and the purpose. But as we continue to mature, we can reflect back on it and say, oh, that's why God had me in this
mm,
place. And
mhm.
especially when it's a place that you didn't want to be in,
Right.
and He brought you out of the place. Now you can understand that experience, because that experience, nothing that we go through is wasted.
Mm,
God uses everything to mold and shape us into who He wants us to be.
mm,
Because, in life, we don't know who we're going to run into. And so there's always something in us that we can pull out without even thinking that helps us to relate to that person.
mm.
Yeah.
So that experience that we had with that other person, whatever it was, or the other thing that happened,
Hmm. Hmm.
was not designed to destroy us, but to build us.
To build us so that we can then help somebody else.
Mm. Mm. There was a woman I met. She was the aunt of a young man that I had met when I ran for public office. He helped me in the distribution of flyers and other kinds of things like that. It's real, not real good guy. Like really got to know him and got to like the guy. Really appreciate him. His father died, and he
Mm.
asked me if I would do the homegoing service, and I did. And his aunt, we chatted, and she said something to me that was profound. She said, I've been telling she had no children, so she wasn't a mom, but she had nephews and nieces. And she said, I
Mhm.
told them all. She said, you can ask them, what is Auntie's favorite saying? She said, when you get a setback, don't step back because you've just been set up for a comeback.
All right.
I said, say that again. I said, do you mind if I write about that? So I wrote a devotional on that very topic and gave her credit. Send the article. When you get a setback, don't step back because you've been set up for a comeback.
Okay.
And so if we think about that, whenever we experience something in life, no matter how challenging it may be, it might be a setback. But if you don't step back, then you recognize that you've been set up for a comeback.
Yeah.
I thought that was so profound that I had to memorialize it so that people will be able to see it forever, forever.
And that's so important.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. Because I think we lose a lot of our genius, um, of our stickability and all of the things that we've been able to come through because we don't share that information with others. Once we get through it, we're through it, and then we go on about our business. But there
Hmm.
are others who are coming along who might encounter the same or very similar things that our experiences can help them, and they don't have to go through what we went through.
Hmm. Hmm. And I think a lot of times that's the purpose of what we experience, to help people have hope, let them know there is hope. You
Mm,
don't have to die in the midst of that circumstance.
mm,
If you allow the Lord to lead and guide you, He will lead you out of it and put your feet on solid ground. That's not just a saying, that's a
mm,
fact. That
mm.
when God delivers you, He delivers you into a place that's better than the one that you're coming out of.
That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to trust that that's going to take place. You
Yeah.
see, because what we talk about when we say, and this is what I like about the cliches that we use in church, becoming a reality,
Okay.
because they do become a reality. When we say all things work together for good to those who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose, we understand that, and then we start to see it more and more. We see the reality of it, that it's not just a saying, it's not just something that we throw out there flippantly, but it's real. And those things that we've learned over the years, those scriptures that we've quoted over the years, are actually real. They become the affirmations of God's grace in our life. And if we continue to tell ourselves those things, then they continue to manifest in our lives, and they become the evidence of things hoped for and the substance of things not seen.
And that's very good when we can not only quote it, but give some real life examples.
Right.
And so, right there, I would use the situation like Joseph. He definitely had a
Hmm.
reason to be bitter,
Yeah. Yeah.
all the things that he went through, and all the disappointments that he experienced when he trusted people who then took advantage of him, uh, took what he had, and then went out and forgot all about him. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that happens in life. So instead of becoming bitter, you take that as another notch in your belt and keep on stepping, you know. And we were talking about that today in the conference, how people had the opportunity to be bitter, but they put something else in place with the help of God. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't do it on their own. It was the help of God, whether they realized that it was God helping them or not. But God was right there. He gave them what they needed at the time that they needed.
Well, and that's interesting because I go back to Andrew. He just said something else. He says, my comeback is when I got clean and sober and had God restored me back to sanity. And so,
Okay.
and so, um, uh, when you allow the Spirit of the living God to work through you, then all of those things that sort of distracted you before, you recognize that they are there to build you up and not tear you down. And that everything falls into that category, not just some things, but all things.
Mm-hmm.
I was again talking with a friend, and we were talking about this, board members, and we were talking about this incident that took place and how devastating it was here and there. But I was thinking about my own devastation. And I remember when I was arrested, um, I'd never felt like that ever in my life. I mean, my mom's and my dad's death was one feeling,
Mm-hmm.
but when I was arrested, there was a whole nother um, uh, group of feelings I never felt before. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I felt like I don't know if you ever watched the Flintstones, and
Yeah.
Fred would just, he'd do something real stupid and he just starts shrinking and he gets to be about this big. I felt about that big.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my sense of who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't, I was like, I had asked myself the question, who am I? I mean, I don't even know who I am. Did I do this? Did I perpetuate this crime? I mean, it was the most debilitating and agonizing thing I've ever been through in my life. I mean, literally, my life changed because my everything changed. I lost my job, I lost my apartment, I lost everything. You know,
Okay.
so I had to I lost my sense of self-worth. I had to humble myself and go and literally beg people to maintain my job. It was not something that I ever saw myself doing.
Okay.
And it took years for me to come to a recognition and to recognize that that wasn't me. What I was arrested for was not me. I did not intend to do anything. And it took a lot of psychological evaluations and help in order for me to understand what happened that evening. because everything changed. And
Okay.
it never came to a completion. So I could see, okay, this is what I intended to do. It stopped right in the middle because I was arrested. And so um, I was thinking about that. And I tell you, it was probably, as I said, the worst feeling I'd ever had. And because everything changed, I had to literally change my whole life because everything changed.
Okay.
And I looked at that and said, what good could come out of that? But what came out of it was the man that I am today.
Okay.
And I like the man that I am today. And that experience has given me an opportunity to evaluate things before they take place. When my dad used to say, think about it before you do it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what that really means now after I went through that.
Yeah.
And so yes, it was difficult, but it was for my good.
Mm-hmm.
It was designed to take me to another level, a level that I could not get to unless I went through that particular space.
Okay. Okay. But when you were going through it, you didn't understand it,
No,
but you understand it now.
by and by.
Yeah.
Right?
And
It's one
you're
of them church
able
things.
to,
You'll understand it better by and by.
and you're now able to apply it to your life,
Right.
but you couldn't do it at that particular time. And,
No.
and I think that's just life, for real.
Uh-huh.
And most people don't get to the point that you're at today. They stop somewhere in the middle of the experience that was supposed to build them up and not tear them down.
Hmm.
And it really helps if when you have a loving mother that's still alive and a part of your life,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and so forth. Um, One thing about motherhood, since we were talking about motherhood, one thing about motherhood, we all have an idea of what we want our children to be. And we are very happy when our children are getting good grades in school.
Mm.
They are part of the school society where we can come in and as I say, and they show off and we show off our children. But it's a different story when our children disappoint us.
Mm.
They choose a route totally different from what we would have chosen for them. And so a lot of times mothers, uh they always say a mother's love, a mother's always love. Matter of fact, that's what the Bible says, a mother's love. You can't get past a mother's love. And God even uses illustrations that say, as a mother's comfort, God comforts you just like a mother. But all mothers are not comforting mothers.
Right.
And a lot of mothers will turn their back on their children
Hmm.
and have nothing to do with them. I'm guilty at one point of my life where my son was disobedient. He was running with the wrong people, and I actually turned my back on him. And I
Hmm.
remember, if people would ask me about my son, I said, "Don't call his name too loud. He might show up." Yeah, because at that particular moment, I did not have the capacity to deal with him.
Hmm.
I didn't understand how to deal with him because he disappointed me. I showed him, as they say, the ills of society, and I told him that was not the way to go, but that was
Hmm.
the way he chose. And so there's a lot of mothers out there, whether it's a son or a daughter, they've turned their back. They have not learned that part that God gives us, where we supposed, because God forgave us, we supposed to learn how to forgive, but that's something that we don't pick up easily.
Hmm.
We forget about how God forgave us, and that because he forgave us, we should have that spirit of ready, what does the Bible say, ready to reconcile.
Hmm.
We're not ready to reconcile. Well, now my son and I, we have a good relationship and we text each other every morning, but that was not always the case.
Hmm.
It's like he broke my rule and I'm not going to have nothing to do with him. And it just went on for a couple of years where he needed that support to say, you made a mistake. Where are we going from here?
Mm.
You know, as they say, hindsight is worth what? 2020?
2020.
Yeah.
But that's interesting, that you would share that and say to people that, sometimes motherhood, even though you're trying to do all the right things for your children, sometimes you do something that really doesn't help them because you've separated yourself from them. You sort of remove the love, the love and support. And then some people would say, yeah, but that was just tough love to
Mm.
let them know that they needed to reevaluate some of their own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So, while you were vacillating or you were going through the process of and I know in your own heart, you were going through some things, but
Mm-hmm.
he also had to go through some things because he had to ask himself the question, do I don't want to lose my mother's love,
Mm-hmm.
because of some of the decisions that I've made. And so again, it works on both sides of the coin, right? It works on both sides of the coin. Mama's looking at you and saying, you broke my rules. And no, I'm not going to be there to support you if you're going to go in that direction. And then he asked himself the question, is it worth it to lose my mother's love to go in that direction? And apparently he said, no, it's not. And he came back, which
Yeah,
is a good thing.
eventually.
That's a
Eventually.
good thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately, like I said, my mom died when I was young, so I didn't have a chance to do those things, but I'm sure I would have done it. I'm sure I would have done some things that broke her heart because I did some things that broke my dad's heart. And
Mm-hmm.
this is what happens. You go through those things, but the nurture and the presence of that love makes all the difference. Because even though she was not there, one of the things that I always wanted to do was make sure that I was pleasing her, even though she wasn't there. Would she be happy? Would she be pleased in who I become?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she still had an influence in my life and still
Right.
does to this very
Right.
day
Mm-hmm.
because she, that love was there. And then, from the flip side, for those who did not have that nurture, who did not have that mother's compassion or that mother's presence, I said in the article, at least in the devotional, the one thing that you can thank your mother for is the fact that she gave birth to you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if nothing else. And sometimes, and you said this earlier, Dr. Harris, the best thing that a mother can do for a child is to let him go,
Okay. Okay.
because they may not be equipped to give you what you need. And so letting you go may be difficult for them, but it may be the best thing that could ever happen to you. So the
Yeah.
nurture that you needed, you got. And even if you didn't get the nurture that you needed, but you were able to sort of wade through all of the complications of life and still come up as a shining star,
Yeah.
then you still should thank your mother because without her, you wouldn't have been able to do it.
Right.
Continue.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not, I don't take anything away from a mother that was even abusive, because everybody gets to make decisions for themselves of how they're going to forgive those persons who have maligned them and did them wrong. Everybody gets to choose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody,
So
you know.
true.
Yeah. And by the way, Geraldine, the other Geraldine, she said, my walk with God was incomplete and I needed it back. As my dad always reminded us, thank God for Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
before that, she said, I went to church so much when I was young, almost 7 days a week. When I went to college, got married, I decided I didn't want to go to school, no church anymore. But that changed after having children.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's where you get your strength from. Whether you understand that you're dependent on God and God is giving you what you
Mm,
need or not. But when you were talking about the devotional, mothers need a quiet period in their day or at least in their week when they can sit and talk to God and share, begin
mm,
to go through his word, because that's where they get their nurturing,
Yeah.
And that's where they get their strength so that they can then have something to share with
Mm.
the ones whose lives that they're molding and shaping. Because
Mm.
a life that's shaped without God is not a life at all.
Mm. That's interesting. That's interesting. Unpack that a little bit because, so many people live without a relationship with God and they don't know what they're missing.
They really don't. Because even when you don't go to church, um, God puts somebody in your life along the way where they're sharing tidbits about who he is
Mm.
and what he does. And so, whether you get it exactly in your house or not, he makes sure that you get it somewhere along in your walk.
Mm.
Somebody comes along and lets you know that God loves you, that there's hope of a better day and a better way, and that God's way is the way that we need to travel and do things. And I like that because God is a nurturer,
Mm.
and He put that nurturing spirit within mothers, whether they follow it or not. Because sometimes people feel they don't want to be weak. They consider to be a nurturer, to be a comforter, that you're weak. But that's all you're doing is extending unto whoever it is what God has given unto you.
Mm. And that's it.
That's it.
You're
Plain and
extending.
simple.
Yep.
Without God, you don't have that nurturing spirit, you
Mm.
know. And God has touched your life in many ways that brought out that nurturing spirit, whether you give him the credit or not.
Right, right, right. I was reading somewhere in my devotional time, my study time, as you talked about, having something in you, God, going back to the first Adam,
Mm-hmm.
God put some of himself in each and every one of us. He
Mm-hmm.
breathed into us the breath of life. And so prior to the law coming into existence, people existed because of what was already in them,
Mm-hmm.
what was right or what was wrong. They knew that they had that sense. And of course, the law sort of identified for everyone what was right and what was wrong. And so the law was given that not to give you that sanctification that you talked about, which is the process of,
Mm-hmm.
of your salvation. Sanctification is a process. It takes a lot longer than your salvation,
Mm-hmm.
but it identified where you were going wrong. It wasn't designed to sanctify you. It was designed to identify where you were going wrong. And then the pièce de résistance was Christ, because now he was the reconciler, because he
Mm-hmm.
took all that was and all of the sins that were committed, and he said, I'm taking them on myself. And so now the sanctification process has been completed, and now God was not, just turning his back on those who did wrong before the law came into existence. But he's saying, now I've completed it, because now all of it can be forgiven because of the death of and the resurrection of the Savior whom I sent for that particular purpose. And so, when we think about the fact that our mothers have that same intuition they have that same spirit in them, whether they were abusive or non-existent or whatever they were, they still had that as a part of their makeup. And
Mm-hmm.
the Lord still uses that to instill in you this new paradigm that allows each of us to recognize who he is. And then, as you said, the tidbits to come along, that we can glean from the crumbs that fall from the table. And then we make decisions like that woman who went to the Lord and said, hey, heal my child. And the Lord said, well, it's not good to give, give food to the dogs,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
really upsets us, right? When Jesus said that. But
Yeah.
what he was, and she said, yeah, but even dogs recognize good stuff when they see it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so what happens is that the Lord didn't turn his back, or turn a deaf eye or deaf ear to those who had sinned previously, but he knew that the process would be completed in Christ. So I'm saying all of that to say this, that we all have an identifier in us that recognizes who God is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, whether you receive him or not, that's up to you.
Right. So true. And some of them, in refusing to receive him, they rather call him the man upstairs,
Right,
or
right,
I know there's a spiritual being,
right.
you know, but as I have
Or
hope
he's a
for,
great prophet.
yeah, and but I'm hopeful, as the scripture says, there's going to come a time when every knee must bow and every tongue must confess that Jesus is Lord. Because the day is coming when you're going to come to an understanding that there's nobody else to help you but
Mm.
Jesus.
I talked to someone over the weekend, and they know I'm a minister. They're not followers of Christ.
Hmm.
I like that terminology better than I do Christians, right? Because
Okay.
that name has been maligned so much. But not she's not a follower of Christ. But she said to me, I grew up, she said, I'm Muslim. I grew up going to Catholic church.
Okay.
She says, I know that Christ is the greatest prophet, and that when this world comes to, he's coming back. She says, now interesting, she's talking to me privately. She says, Christ is coming back. It's him that's going to redeem the world. But she did not say that he was the Christ,
Mm-hmm.
the Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
She said he was a great prophet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I asked myself, I said, okay, I didn't have a chance to have a dialogue with her,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but because she brought it to me, I know that there's a question that's going on in her spirit, right? And that's what we're talking about, right? That
Right.
that that I don't know if it was her mother or her dad that introduced her to Christ, and she got this inkling, but it's there. But knowing that I'm a preacher, knowing that I'm a minister of the gospel,
Mm-hmm.
she didn't say it to anybody else. She didn't say it to the imam. She said it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying to myself, she is being drawn by the light that shines through, and she wants that breakthrough. She
Mm-hmm.
wants that breakthrough. So, what is it that we're charged to do as followers of the way? Well, as followers of the way, we're supposed to show them the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, I will reach out to her again and have a conversation with her about the salvific faith that redeems us from all of our sins and all of our iniquities, and that clarifies that Christ is not just the greatest prophet, but he is the Messiah.
But not only that, since she understands that he's coming back and he's going to redeem the world, where does she fit in that picture? See, that's a question for her too, and let her come to the understanding that she has the answer within her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are you hoping? Where will you be when that great day happens? When this great prophet returns for the people who believed and trusted in him.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. And you see, you talked about this earlier, you know, showing people the way and giving them the opportunity to make the decision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have to beat people over the head with the Bible. Mothers, whether they were gifted with those attributes that are mentioned in Proverbs 31 or not,
Mm-hmm.
the glimpse, just the inkling that they had, the crumbs that they had, the shadow that or the light that broke through the shadows every now and then was enough. And if that influenced you, then that gives you the impetus to go forward and to become who God created you to be. So that's why I'm saying that whatever it is that we are going through, whatever our moms went through, whatever they had to deal with, it's still a great Mother's Day, and they deserve to be praised.
Yeah, yeah. Because mothers make sacrifices. You
Hmm.
know, I think about all those mothers that had to work two and three jobs.
Mm.
I think about the mothers who had their children taken from them by the slave masters and
Yeah.
sold off to other places. You know, so motherhood can be painful, and we know that from Mary. Uh-oh, what happened?
No, it's good. No, it's good. It's good.
Oh,
I'm just putting our pictures, our beautiful faces up on the screen because we're coming down to the end of our broadcast tonight. So we've got
oh,
a few minutes left and stuff. But go ahead and finish, and then I'm gonna give you an opportunity to close out because the Lord has placed something on my heart that I need to share with everybody in closing. So continue.
okay. And so, I said motherhood can be painful at times,
Mm-hmm.
because we do love our children, and as I said, we want the best. But when I think about all that Mary went through,
Mm.
Mary, Jesus' mother, she was a willing vessel. She was glad to consent to carry the life that was going to be the savior of the world.
Mm.
But then she had to stand at the foot of the cross, and all those hours leading up to when he was beaten and scourged and so forth. See that happening to your child,
Mm.
and there's nothing that you can do for them. There's nothing that you can do about what's happening. And I look at what a lot of mothers are going through today when they
Mm.
see their children being killed or
Mm.
on the road that are possible destruction.
Mm-hmm.
And all you can do is just keep on praying and calling on the Lord. And it seems as though he's not answering. And I know there's many mothers who have come to the point sometime to say, God, where are you? Why aren't you answering?
Mm.
And so the only thing that we can do is just keep on praying and keep on believing. Because even in the death of our children, there was something there that the Lord had to help us to grow
Mm.
to another level. We might not ever understand it before we leave this world, but he doesn't do things without a purpose.
Mm.
And so if we truly love the Lord and we truly living for the Lord, we have to believe and trust in him that whatever he does is right, although it might be painful to us, but it's right in his sight.
Yeah, go through the furnace, come out like pure gold.
Yes.
It's hot and it's hard,
Yeah.
but it's good.
So much so.
I
All
love it.
right. I'm glad you invited me
Me
to
too. So
this
stick
session.
around. Don't move. Just stay right there. Stay right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Right there. How would you describe a virtuous woman? Many people can do that with just one word: mother, mom, mommy, mama, or wife. It's amazing how descriptive one word can be. But the question behind the question is, does the birth of children make someone a virtuous woman or a virtuous mother? I don't know if you saw it, but there is a problem in that text. Would you agree that virtuosity is the outer display of what's on the inside? If that's correct, then there are virtuous mothers and there are also non-virtuous mothers. For the non-virtuous mother, there is no virtue in them to come out of them. Their outer display is sinful, it's wicked, it's unethical, it's dishonest, it's immoral, and it's corrupt. And that's the problem in the text. Not every mother is virtuous, and not every woman is virtuous. The results of this lack of virtuousness is dysfunctionality and family chaos, sinfulness, wickedness, immorality, dishonesty, and corrupt behavior are transferable and often shows up in the offspring of the one who lacks virtue. We see it in our lives every day. Some of us suffer from it today, even though it happened decades ago. But where there's a problem, there's a solution, which is the essence of a mother. God is still in the business of producing virtue. You may not have had a perfect mother, You may not have been a perfect mother, but God specializes in taking what was broken and making it beautiful. Because virtue is not inherited, virtue is cultivated. And I heard the word say, favor comes from the Lord. So if you didn't get it from mama, you can get it from the master. If you didn't grow it or see it growing up, you can live it going forward. God can take a life full of chaos, full of confusion, full of mistakes, and still produce something virtuous out of it. No matter what your mother may have lacked, God still used her to bring you into this world. And now, extend to her a heartfelt Happy Mother's Day and be the child that praises her, no matter what you went through. Can I pray for y'all? Let me say,
Yes, please.
gracious God, our Father and our King, we thank you for every mother and every woman who has given love, made sacrifices, and carried more than words can express. Now, Lord, develop in us the essence of a virtuous life. Create in us clean hearts and renew a right spirit within us. Where we are empty, fill us. Where we are broken, restore us. Where we are inconsistent, make us steady and faithful. Teach us to be dependable, loving, patient, and strong. Let our character reflect your grace. Our words reflect your wisdom, and our lives reflect your truth. Strengthen every mother. Give her patience in weariness, wisdom in uncertainty, and peace in every season. And for those still growing and healing, shape them daily into vessels of honor. Let love be on, let it be our way, integrity our foundation, and your word our guide. And when it is all said and done, may our lives so reflect you that others will rise and call them blessed. We thank you. We trust you. We honor you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Now, my guest tonight, Reverend Dr. Geraldine Harris, is my friend. The last time she was on our broadcast, watch this now, was March 21st, 2022. And we talked about the way of transformation. I had you paired up with Reverend Dr. Emery Ailes. Remember that?
Yeah. Yes.
Tonight, just you and me.
All right.
I'm so glad you consented to join me tonight. You have made this a very special broadcast celebrating the essence of a mother and our birthdays. The congregation of Greater File Chapel Baptist Church have a jewel as their pastor, and you brought that richness with you this evening. I thank you, my sister. You are the essence of a mother. Now, don't forget our sponsors and advertisers. The JLR Company, J. Lauren R. Consulting, LLC, for all your church financial needs. Call 718-328-8096, 718-328-8096, or give us a call or just text us or email us at jlaurenr@jlr.llc. That's jlaurenr@jlr.llc. And don't forget, we're dealing with this new product now that will benefit the employer, the employee, and everybody that takes home more money. It's not about the castle, it's about the kingdom. Matters of Faith, the book, I've been talking about it all night, but this is the book. It's not just a little, this is a real book, and you can get it. It's $20, $23.40, which covers shipping and handling. You can get it by using my Cash App, $ J Lauren R, and the number one. $ J Lauren R, the number one. You can also get it using my Cash App. I said that already, but you can also get it by using my Zelle. That's J Lauren R at gmail.com. That's jlaurenr at gmail.com. Or you can get it as an ebook. If you do it as an ebook, that information is in your chat. It's smashwords.com. All that other information is included. Better Mag Magazine, www.abettermag.com. A 2-year subscription is still only $27.50. And don't forget, please don't forget the Positive Community Magazine. They likewise are carrying my article or the devotional in either the magazine and or their newsletter. www.thepositivecommunity.com. So if you don't get the positive community at your church, you should do that. They will bring it there. They will make sure that it's at the church for distribution. And please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our Matters of Faith YouTube channel. Telephone, text, email, message, any way you do it. But tell a friend to join us regularly on Monday nights for Matters of Faith, the radio show. We are always live on our Matters of Faith and J. Lauren Russell Facebook groups. And when the show is over, each episode goes on to the Matters of Faith, Matters of Faith Facebook pages and groups. We do it simultaneously anyway. And that's why I want you to subscribe, like, and share the Matters of Faith YouTube channel, because then anytime we come on, you'll get notification that we are broadcasting. Now, the Lord bless you, the Lord keep you, the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Now, if no one has told you this today, let me be the first to say that I love you and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. So get used to it. So Reverend Dr. Harris, again, thank you